Hey y'all, welcome to the One Up Podcast. You might notice something different here today. We're missing one of our nearest and dearest, as he would say. He should be joining us back in the next one. He's just, had to dip out this time. Luckily, this is not even in place of Tony, because this was pre-planned. We've got the lovely Crystal with us here above me.
The Game Junky, the Jedi Master.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, bitches?
OG badass. Hey,
the video game
it's almost
breaker.
Like she's replacing Tony already. She's got to drop the bitches on us, just like Tony.
I gotta keep his spirit alive.
Thank you.
For those of you that are joining us for the first time, I'm Mateo. This is my boy Pucho, who is probably not on the side of the screen I'm pointing on now that I'm thinking about it. This camera swap gets me every time. That's Doey up there.
What's going on?
And Crystal, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the audience a little bit. I think that they should know you, but if they don't, let's give them a little primer on you and what you do.
They about to find out.
What's up? Yeah, I'm gonna introduce myself the way you and Doey accidentally introduced me one day when you introduced my show instead of your show. I'm a tall ass bitch, and I like animals, and I break the shit out of video games. Y'all want to find some bugs in your shit? Let me play that stuff. Like, I will find a way to fuck it up, mess it up. I just figure I'm the bug commander. So
one of my favorite things is seeing you post on Twitter about the bugs you've broken or the bugs you've found, the video games you've broken, and I'm like, this is awesome.
I don't know how I do it. It's like literally because my neighbors and I will play video games together, and they're like, how the fuck are you doing this? Like, all I got to do, bro, just let me just let me like caress the disc a little slowly, like whisper a little something, and it's going to break. Like, you put it in and I'm going to find the fucking bugs.
That's a marketable skill is what that is.
It is. I'm playing Halo Infinite right now, running through the campaign, and I keep like breaking shit and have weird stuff happen, and I'm like, what the fuck? How can I just give me your shit and I'll fuck it. Dude, I will fuck it up and let you know what you need to fix.
You know how Crystal reflects light? Maybe you're just not letting the bullshit come to you, and it's just reflecting back into the game.
I reflect light because I'm pale as fuck. That's what's happening. Because I got no tan. I don't know. I can break tech somehow. I guess maybe I'm just like, maybe internally I'm a boomer in my soul, and I just don't know how to work tech. I don't fucking know.
That's awesome.
I don't fucking know.
So,
Wow.
so Pucho, tell me about your week. What have you been doing? How's your weekend been?
So I got this UFC 4 game, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I know. I'm supposed to be the boxing fan, okay? I'm not a big fan of MMA, but this game got its fucking hooks on me, okay? I've done nothing but play this game since like Tuesday night. Like nonstop. Like I probably got like 20 hours since Tuesday. It's like pretty bad.
This is the one that they gave for free, right?
Yeah. It's a PlayStation Plus game this month.
There's a dude I watch on YouTube called Ricky J Sports, and he exclusively plays old Fight Night games and that new UFC game. That's all the dude plays. He's good. It looks awesome. That's why when I saw it on PlayStation Plus, I was excited to add it to my library.
It's I really gotta make sure I'm saying the right thing, but it's definitely the deepest fighting game I've played, probably since Melee. All right.
Damn.
Because Melee is still my favorite, but the amount of shit you could do in this game, every single button does some number of combinations of things, and then if you start like combining the buttons together, they just do all types of crazy shit. Like there's every single button and every single combination of buttons does something. So it's overwhelming at first. Like you're like, how the fuck do I tackle the guy? This guy's trying to tackle me. How do I stop this? Or how do I kick a guy in the head? And it's like, it's always some fucking weird combination of buttons. But now I'm like 19 fights into the career mode, and I've got like, maybe like a third of it down. There's still a shitload of stuff that I don't really know how to do, but it's got its hooks in me.
Pucho was share playing with me, and I was watching his screen, and he knocked somebody out with a kick. Yo, the fucking foot was so big on my screen. I was like, I said, listen, if that foot is big on my screen, that foot must be gigantic on the 77.
Some people would say that we bring up the 77-inch TV flex too much.
They didn't say too much, okay? They just said that it happens every episode. They didn't actually judge it whatsoever. And they didn't say it's a good thing or bad thing, you know?
Got called out, though.
Yeah. The other game, Deep Rock Galactic. Dude, the game is fucking good. Another free game on PlayStation Plus. This is last month's game. We got hooked up.
Wish that there was crossplay in that game because I played the hell out of that on Steam. I've got so many hours in that game. I got like over 100 hours probably into that game. Corey and I are dwarven experts. We're doing like all the end game shit already in the PC version.
What
I'm a little worried about jumping
do you use?
I use all of them. My favorite is actually the engineer.
Ooh.
Engineer and scout are my two go-tos.
I'm a driller.
Driller's my least favorite, I think.
And Doey's a garbage driller, according to Tony. Garbage as in he sucks at his one single job. So, Doey, step your drill game up, all right? I feel like there's a sexual innuendo here. That
I was literally thinking that's a Pornhub headline. It's like Doey is a driller.
This is the exact conversation that was going on right before we started rolling.
Title
Doey's
name?
drilling sucks. Big.
Deep Cock Galactic.
Deep Cock Galactic.
Galactic
Oh my
cock.
God.
You're getting the galactic cock. It's extra. It's so big. It's galactic.
It goes to galactic depths. Okay.
Is that the standard now to try to grow to? Is like Pucho TV size? Are we?
Yeah.
We're all pretty much trying to catch up now. Yeah.
If you're taller than a child on my 77-inch TV, okay, you're doing big things. Right? You should be proud of yourself. All right. The foot in the UFC game, it was big on the TV.
He kicked the guy in the face, and they zoomed in to the foot, and I'm like, "That's a big foot."
It was like
There's
that
a
much.
fucking foot.
It was terrible. But yeah.
Doey, tell us
What
about
made
your...
me sad?
Oh,
what made me
sorry.
actually sad, okay? I wanted to play a fucking video game with my good friend over here. The piece of shit above my head.
Oh.
With this fucking guy right here. This asshole. And he's like, yeah, we'll play. We'll play right now. Let's hop in a game. And then one of our other friends,
I said,
Junior,
"Booch, do you want to play It Takes Two?"
and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then Junior, friend of the pod, he joins in the party, and then Doey screams, "Oh, Junior, thank God." And then immediately he's like, "Jump on Aliens Fire Team," and then they're like fucking knee deep in the game in like 4 seconds. I'm like, dude, I missed something. And so I was all alone on what was it, like Saturday night? It was sad.
Yeah.
Damn.
Big
We
sad.
played Aliens Fire Team for like 5 hours.
That's so much time in that game.
Pucho got pissed off. He left, and when he came back, we were still strategizing how to beat Aliens Fire Team.
She made me sick.
Okay, Doe, give us the rest of your week post this Fire Team marathon session.
And I don't want to hear about no Fire Team or World War Z. Okay, I don't
Accurate.
want to hear about those games. I'm gonna nip it in the bud right now. Okay.
No Dead Space 2 or 3 either.
I got the WD Black 2 terabyte expansion for the PS5, and it's had me playing games that came out last year. I've been playing this game called Wreckfest. It's like a destruction derby type of game.
Wreckfest is good.
I find it a lot of fun on my off time to play this. I was looking on the internet because I've already played this on the PS4, so I don't have any of my shit for the PS5. So I'm like, how do I earn credits and XP level at the same time? I don't want to do the campaign. So I make a custom match race.
Oh no.
60 laps banger race on this hell ride level. And you got to put the damage to realistic and the AI to expert. Yo, the AI won't even make it past lap 4.
They take each other out immediately in that game. It's ridiculous.
All you gotta do is make sure you can take yourself out at the end, and then you win, and you get like 3 levels up. You get like 20,000 credits. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. First off, Crystal, if you don't know any of the words he said, I don't blame you. I'm in the same boat. I don't know what.
No, I know what he's doing. He's exploiting. It's like he's exploiting XP. That's my man over here figuring out how to outsmart the system.
He's farming.
Yeah.
He
I'm
is.
talking about the specifics of this game, though. A banger race and all this. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. But I had the misfortune, all right, of watching him. He's like, yo, watch this. It's so interesting. He put a share play up. I fell asleep in like 1 minute. It was so boring.
Was it just him racing by himself?
Yeah.
So dumb.
It just needed a big ass foot. That's what it is. Pucho was like, oh, you got that 65-inch. Bitch, come at me with that 77 big motherfucking foot and we can talk. That's what it is.
It's the one up.
The sad part of my life, I haven't been able to ride a bike in like 2 weeks. And it's so sad and it hurts. It's just been snowing and it's been so not good for biking. Like, basically, the only time you're going to be riding a bike out in this type of weather is if it's your only mode of transportation. And even then, take the subway. Just stop it. Just take the subway.
That slush sounds frightening to be riding a bike at like 30 miles per hour.
So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to take the mopeds in the snow. I don't recommend it. Just take the subway. I had to hard stop, and that is just in the rain or in the snow. You don't do that. You gotta like stop. First of all, you gotta be driving way slower than you normally do. I almost fucking wiped out at 30 miles on this moped. I stopped. The moped went like. I had to stick out my leg.
The problem too is that Doey's out here driving in New York City in these 2-wheeled vehicles, and he just runs red lights like he don't give a fuck.
I didn't want to incriminate myself, but
he's farming experience points.
See, he's trying to cause a wreck fest.
I run like at least 60 lights.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
How are you not getting tickets? How are you not getting hit?
New York City has changed in a way that I can't explain. After the riots and stuff, the police just stopped giving a fuck about certain things unless they are there on the avenue to collect tickets. Otherwise, I've ran red lights in front of cops. If they're stationed on the block, I'll still run the red light. They're not in their car. They're not going to chase me down.
Yeah, but aren't cars coming in the opposite direction with green lights?
You got to, you give them a nice Idaho stop. You stop, you check, anybody coming. If there's nobody coming and the avenue is clear, you just keep it moving.
So you're looking. You're not just like, wow, driving through without.
No, I'm not just like trying a death ticket, basically.
He's looking in the same way that frog is looking when Frogger is jumping across a little road.
Yes. And we know how good Frogger players can get.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. In some streets, some nights, you're stopped at a red light, and you're like, why the fuck is there a light here? Those lights deserve to be ran. It's like Harold and Kumar, right? They stood at that light for like 10 minutes before the cop magically appeared. But I hope that never happens to them.
Because
They
the
ran it
timed
in the car.
lights. Yeah, the time. It's like after 1 a.m, the lights change to time, and it's like, who the fuck made this a 15-minute light at 2 a.m? Like, there's nobody here.
Some very
I feel what you're
spiteful
saying.
bureaucrat just over there, like, fuck them. They're going to sit there for 15 minutes because I say so.
What assholes?
Crystal,
Bearcats.
tell us about your week. What have you been up to? What has made you happy this week?
Oh, man, I'm a simple bitch. It's easy to make me happy. Chicken nuggets make me happy. Beer makes me happy. Video games make me happy. I got into Returnal. I started playing Returnal. And then I'm playing Halo Infinite. I'm gonna try to knock that campaign out.
The campaign's
that's-
good.
How far in Returnal?
I played for like 2.5 hours, and then I started to get bored. It's not a discredit to the game. I'm just not a big pew pew person, so I kind of, if I'm playing a lot of pew pew, I'll go play something else or switch it up. But I just kind of wanted to play Halo. I haven't played Halo in so long. I figured, let me play the new one.
Yes.
It's pretty solid. I enjoyed the campaign a lot, honestly. The open world aspect of it was so cool. Like
It is actually pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. It definitely feels like it's a sandbox that I want to enjoy with friends. So I'm excited. I think for June when I can co-op it with some friends, that'll be fun. But I'm having a good time in that, and I plan to just pop in and play Returnal like an hour or two, and then I'll probably get a little. I'll jump in. I just can't. That game is just so. It's a great game, but it's just so repetitive, and it's hard, and I just don't want to do that for like 6-8 hours in a row.
That's my same approach with those kind of games. Like Enter the Gungeon. Joey can play that for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I got into it for a little bit, and I could give it about 30 minutes, and then I'd be like, okay, I need something else.
Yeah.
I'm tired of dying constantly and just sucking at this game.
Yeah, some of those games are just like short burst games. So I'm going to try it in short bursts if I don't ever get good. I mean, whatever. It's a fun game. It's smooth. Housemarque deserves more credit than they got for it, in my opinion. But man, I'm easy to please. It's not hard to make me happy. Like, show me your boobs for like 5 seconds and I'm good for the day. It's easy.
As much as I'd love to praise boobs, okay, I wanted to second your Housemarque comment. I've been in love with Housemarque since Dead Nation. The guys make good games, all right? Like
I was a Dead Nation bitch.
Alien Nation, even the Next Machina game, fucking obviously Returnal. They do one thing really fucking well. It's action. They could just put action in a game and it's just really fucking good.
I don't
get tired of it.
And it's interesting. It's very arcadey. The cool thing about that, it kind of gave me Contra vibes. It's like I was 7, 8, 9 years old again playing Contra. So I feel like it is kind of like what a modern day Contra was.
There's no ammo count. Like every gun has unlimited ammo.
Yeah,
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? That's right.
I
Okay.
haven't played Returnal yet. I'm completely out of the loop.
But I did learn late that you have to do this thing called an overcharge, which will give you. So I'm still learning the mechanics, but it does have that arcadey, like old school 80s vibe to it. I'm less into that now being older, but for anybody who's on the fence about it, yeah, it's hard, but it's smooth. It's intriguing. It's a really neat take on it's not like other games that are out there. So I think more people should play it and give it a chance for sure.
It's super creepy whenever it starts to tell its story.
Bitch, I screamed. That first one, like when they're onboarding you and they're like, we're gonna onboard you, but like we're gonna fuck you up. We're gonna fuck you up. We're gonna make you die like so fast in your first few minutes. And this motherfucking thing jumped out, and I didn't know it was coming. I don't like shit jumping out at me. I don't like I'll kill the fuck out of a human. Like I'm like, human motherfucker, bam bam. But some shit jumps out at me, and I screamed already. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I didn't know what was gonna happen in Halo because I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like it's kind of dark in here, and this grunt went. Urgh! I screamed, y'all, because I'm not used to the grunting. I was like, oh motherfucker! Like I get tense when them big old motherfuckers come at me. But it's great. It's great. I'm just a bitch.
Some of those conversations you walk into amongst the enemies in Halo Infinite are so fucking good. Like they scream, they gossip about you, they shit talk you. Like it's so good.
Yes, the little dudes, and then they're like, I love the little guys that like run. They're like me because I'd be like, no, motherfucker, I don't want to die, and run away like a little bitch. But they shit talk you, and I'm like, this is hilarious. It's great. I'm enjoying it.
Those little touches.
I haven't played it, Halo Infinite. I do also appreciate that same kind of thing in The Last of Us 2. Like when you're fighting the NPCs in that game. Not only do you, when you're sneaking around, you can hear them talking about, oh, did you hear about that crazy girl who killed like blah blah blah, like, so you know, like they're talking about you, or they mention like, oh, there's some guy, and you're like, oh, is that Tommy, or like you don't really know what's going on. But then also it's crazy, like you shoot someone in the head, and then someone's like Emily, and you're like, oh shit, the
they gave
person
him
I
a
just
name?
shot is Emily.
I actually like that. It was my I actually really liked the game, so I played it a few times. It took me to my second or third time to realize that they're talking about you as Ellie. They're talking about Ellie and Dina kissing at the little barn party. Like, you can hear them gossiping, and if you walk up on them, they'll be like, oh, they'll literally stop. I was like, that is some cool detail.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I do like that Halo does that a lot. It is kind of funny to listen to them talk shit about you. That's pretty cool.
Halo's free on Game Pass, right?
It is.
I need to stop being a little bitch and play it, because
That's why I'm playing. I was like, I mean, paying for Game Pass. I haven't, not gonna lie, I've had it for like 2 or 3 months and haven't used it yet. And I'm like, I'm just gonna pick some fucking games and use it. So it's a good game. If you're paying for it, download it, play it, try it. Why the fuck not? It's what it's there for.
100%. The campaign is good. The multiplayer is good. I got burnt out on the multiplayer real quick, but it's solid. I mean, it's one of the best feeling shooters that I've played. The controls are tight. They're what you want. It's a good game. I'm terrible at the driving. That weird stick ass shit. I'm like flipping these motherfuckers all up into trees and shit. I threw like 4 Marines off a fucking cliff. I was like, we're fucking walking. We're walking. I'm sorry, but we're walking. It's a tactical approach.
Do you feel like you need to play the previous games in order to play this one?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah, I haven't played Halo since like Halo 2. I'm not a big like spray bullets and pray you don't die person. That's not typically been my kind of genre. I'm not there are parts of the storyline that I'm not really sure what's happening.
Same.
So
I had to go and watch a recap video. Basically, I went and watched a recap video. I was like, oh, okay, that's where this is. That's what's happened in the game so far.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's happening. I can still follow the story and enjoy it, but I'm not. There are things that I am missing. I feel like I would get more out of it if I caught up on that, which Dr. Mo told me to do, and I didn't do it. Now I'm going to be in trouble because he's going to see this, and he's going to be like, I fucking told you to do that.
I would watch a recap video at the very minimum. Just one of those little 10, 15-minute videos on YouTube. I've just been playing Valheim.
It wouldn't be a recap. I just haven't played it at all.
I've just been playing Valheim all week is what I've been doing.
Joey got me to play Halo. I played the first game, and then I just kind of stopped playing the rest of them. But I wanted to play them through to kind of get to play through Halo Infinite, especially because I had Game Pass and they're all on there.
Yep. So. Yeah, the Master Chief Collection is all up on there. Cool. Yeah, I've just been playing Valheim all week. We're on the final boss. So we're building up to beat that guy. And we're out of content at this point. So we're trying to figure out what the hell to play on PC now that we've exhausted Valheim for a bit.
Golf with friends.
We've been playing that one. We played some of that last night. We played this hellish like hour-long map mini golf round where like Derek had the max stroke count set to 30. I hit that stroke count on 7 or 8 of the holes last night on an 18-hole course. It was one of the most painful games I've ever played. It was just rough. But I guess we do have some topics we need to get to. First up, we thought we're a pretty diverse group here. We thought it would be cool to talk about representation in gaming, pop culture in general. Why is it important to you? How do you think it can be done better? How do you think it's been done poorly?
How much time do we have?
We'll start with our guest. You can lead us in.
Ooh, okay. Firstly, I do want to say that the world is a diverse place. There's more than 7 billion people on the planet. So the fact that there are some people who think the world isn't different outside of their bubble, that's really not true. So sometimes I look at the argument of people saying it's forced or it's woke, but in my opinion, there are 2 key reasons that we need diversity. One of them is tolerance. Hopefully with education comes tolerance, right? We can't lie to ourselves, unfortunately, things like xenophobia and racism and homophobia are still very alive. They're still very prevalent. I can only hope that introducing people to the fact that there is a diverse world around you and that those people are people just like you, I would certainly hope that that helps. Mental health is really a huge part of it too. I grew up in a really small town, a family of cattle ranchers. It was a very conservative town. I knew that my sexuality was different when I was 6, and I started to struggle with gender identity kind of concerns at 7. And I knew humanity's done a really good job of creating these little constructs and saying, okay, you have to check off all these boxes just because you're X. Yep. And I've never done that. I've never been good at that. And I never, ever, ever saw myself reflected in content. I never saw like strong-willed, independent girls. I never saw a lot of tomboys. I never saw females desire relationships with other females. I never saw trans people. So it became extremely depressing. I was very isolated. I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know where to find a community. And it led to me getting suicidal around 16 years old, and it was devastating. And then when I finally when shows like Queer as Folk and L Word came out in my 20s, and then it was like, oh my God, there are people like me. This isn't this like disgusting, bad, awful thing. And that was huge. That's one of the things that helped me develop a support community. It helped me come out. You know, it was very different back in the day, you know, the 80s and 90s. You know, my friend's daughter asked her mom, am I not pretty because none of the dolls in the store look like me?
Oh shit.
And that's what can happen if we don't show everybody that you're not alone. There are people like you. The agenda is just to show you that we're living in a diverse world. And I think lazy writing is really bad. There are a lot of minorities, especially from the 80s and 90s and time prior, who can say they've never seen themselves or their representation was always the butt of a joke.
Yeah.
So I think you can't just say, well, here's a person, we're going to paint him with a broad brushstroke. You need cultural relevance. You need more characters like Finn and Miles Morales. They're not just people who are minorities. They have an entire cultural story that's reflective that for so many people. Like in Last of Us 2, when you stumble upon a synagogue and Dina starts talking about her Jewish roots, or Seth with the bigot sandwich. Like I've had so many Seths. So that some people think, oh, you're forcing it on us. You're trying to convert people. No, it's just, we all exist in the real world. Like it's life. And I just think the point is, and every human being deserves to be treated with respect until they do something that makes you lose your respect. And that thing should not be a skin pigment. It shouldn't be who they worship. And it shouldn't be who they sleep with, because that's not really your fucking business anyway. So that's kind of my thought process on it anyway.
Mateo, what's the next topic? We can't follow that.
Yes, you can't stop.
Shut it down. It's a 5-minute section.
Very well put. Like, God damn.
I feel like you may have thought about this before, Crystal.
Well, I mean, we did back one of the earlier episodes when we started the Game Junky Show last year. We did do an episode on the LGBTQIA community and helped people understand, like, it's not our people having an agenda of saying, oh, we want to turn you this way. It's like everybody is a person, and if you don't understand diversity, you might be lucky enough that you've always seen yourself represented. So you don't understand that other people may have a lot of struggles because they don't see themselves. Everybody deserves to see themselves. We exist in the real, like, it's just that simple to me.
It's so important for children too. Steven Universe, that show Steven Universe is so near and dear to my heart just because of the level of like diversity and relationships and like real world issues that they present to children. That shit is so important, especially when you're that young, trying to find your place in this world, trying to figure out who you are and what you want to be. Like it's important. It's incredibly important.
I always identified I loved shows like what's the Adventure Times Within, Chowder. I always love these shows that have like androgynous characters. You don't really know if they're male or female, and I always love being able to identify with these characters in these shows. I'm like, yo, that's kind of me. I'm like that.
I mean, it makes. I feel like. I don't know. Can you, I mean, again, there's more than 7 billion people on the planet. Can you literally say that all those people fit into these same little categorical boxes that, you know, these archetypes that society has created? You can't. The world is more fluid than that. It's not just black and white or gay or straight or this God or that God. It's not that simple. It's not that discernible by little bitty check marks. It's just like life is fluid. So
even the quote unquote easy definitions, right? Because we had this conversation on one of our podcast episodes about what is a man, like what, and you know, people claim that's easy. That's easy. There's man, there's woman, boom, done. Here's the criteria, and boom, that's what you are. And we broke it down in that episode. We're like, it's not that fucking easy. Who knows what a man is? Like, is it physical characteristics? But no, it's not just purely physical. It's all over the place. It's just how you identify. Like it's an interesting concept.
I love that people like to point out and say, "Oh, it's science." Like science just tells you what it is, but they fail to realize that like what science does is it describes the world, like all the different things that exist. Science could tell you this is all the stuff that exists, but then it's just us as failures of people and flawed individuals and you know in all of our ways, we're the people that are categorizing these things and putting them into buckets, and then later down the road we look at those buckets and say science defined this thing, and it's like no, science defined like there's these chromosomes, there's a pattern here, or these gametes or any number, depending on how deep you want to get into the whole gender thing, right? It describes these things, but it doesn't really say what you should do with that stuff. Like at the end of the day, we start categorizing these things like, oh, no, you call that thing a woman, and then it's like, I'm not trying to call women a thing, but you know, this collection of characteristics, right? You call that a woman, and then anything that deviates from that, you're like, well, that must not be a woman. But then it's like, sometimes there's cases where you can't categorize something, and then you're like, oh, that's just an exception. Let's just ignore that because we have these convenient buckets or whatever. And it's like, it's kind of shitty to not sit and like reassess your beliefs and reassess what exists. Now we're introducing these new things. I put them in quotes because trans people have been around forever. But
it's interesting that you say that. Now I'm 6'1", right? I have big shoulders. I'm a very large. I can finally be part of the 1% and something because it ain't fucking wealth. So like there is always an issue using public bathrooms for me. I have short hair. I don't wear clothes that are typically defined as feminine. Public bathrooms are such a huge deal for me. I cannot count the number of times that women make comments, call security. I've been called an it. People have snatched their children and say, don't wash your hands next to it.
That's
and
fucking
it's
awful.
like, is it because the bucket of science says I'm supposed to? So if I had long hair and wore a dress, you would assume I'm not a pervert? Are you assuming I'm a pervert? Like, so that's the thing is I'm not saying science isn't valid, right? But we have to rationally understand that there's more than that. It's not that simple. There are human emotions involved.
The more interesting thing about that type of experience is that there is no science there. Someone just glanced at you and made some number of calculations in their head and said now they have an opinion about what gender you are or anything like that. And it's like, they didn't fucking come and measure anything scientifically. They just glanced at you. So it's like any trans person that passes for their preferred gender, it's like they automatically become whatever gender they identify as in society. And if they don't pass, then they get called security on or any number of those things. And I don't know, it's just kind of, there's like a contradiction there within people. And I know there's a deviation from representation in games, but it kind of it is the conversation. Really, it's just like how people view things. Like, I don't know. To I guess to bring it back a little bit, to empathize with the people that are hurt by more inclusivity in games. Like, I could understand, like, all right, in a time, right, every single movie was like practically 100% white. And then as Hollywood, as directors, script writers, as those people became more inclusive, they allowed, Hispanic, women, black people, gay people, whatever, into their movies. White people are kind of losing something they had, right? They had 100%. Now maybe they got like 70% or 60%. Like, so the people that look at that, what they don't see that we have this big chunk of the pie. What they see is we've lost all this ground. Like, look at all these other people they're including. Like, they must have their agenda for taking this away from me. And like, I could empathize with, like, I could understand the feeling. When I say empathize, I'm not like saying like their feelings are accurate or good or anything like that. I'm saying, like, I understand. Like if someone taxes you more for the greater good, what you feel is, I got less dollars in my pocket. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I kind of understand the feeling, but on the flip side, it also feels kind of shitty, right? Like when you sit down and you create something, you make a whole gang of decisions, right? So if you're gonna create, like when you sit down and create a character, right? You go through every single piece of this creative character, and you're like, oh, I picked their height, I picked their gender, I picked their skin color, right? All the way through. And this is no different for writers, for anybody that creates characters, right? They do all these things. It feels kind of weird that anytime a character is black or a character is gay, it's for wokeism. When the reality is like, every time someone went and created a white character, they made the decision to make that character white. And they view that as a default. Like the default character is a white person, and they're 6 foot, they're a man, they have a cock. It's got to be large, of course, because we don't like little dicks either.
Hey, Batman showed his cock, and it's very average.
I don't remember this.
You don't remember the comic where they showed like the side profile of the Batman wing?
Nah.
I'm gonna need you to put that in the description for me.
I'm gonna Google it.
The Batman wing better be a thumbnail. That needs to be incorporated in one of the thumbnails. Okay, the silhouette. Okay, but I'm just saying, it's kind of shitty that like they don't view the decision to make a character white as like a decision, but they view it. If you make a character black, it's like, oh, there must be some ulterior motive as to why they chose this race or something. I don't know. It feels kind of shitty, I think. But.
I mean, you said some really cool things that make me think of a lot of other stuff. And part of the point of like representing people is so you don't like automatically freak out at when you see people that are different from you. But if I were going to create a character that I would resonate more would be a character that's lived my lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, as more diversity gets into filmmaking and video games and writing, you're going to see more diverse characters, because people maybe in some cases want to create people that they understand. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see how that's a bad thing. And that is definitely a wiener, by the way. I just Googled it. That is definitely a wiener. That is a wiener.
So, all right. In the sizes, all right. Is this like average? Is it like meh?
Okay, I'm not a penis expert by any means.
I mean, we had the conversation, all right? You want to see...
It's not like, he's not packing a Chris Brown. I can tell you that. We're not close to that.
Is it girthy?
No, I'm going to say this is an average. I'm going to say this isn't, I don't know if I should say the first thing that popped into my mind. This is to me, this is a perfectly average.
Circumcised, uncircumcised.
It appears to be circumcised.
Wow.
It's circumcised, but it was happened mid combat though. He wasn't originally circumcised.
Oh wow! I was gonna say Batman is of my ilk, but now I did not.
Yeah,
go through this mid combat.
Yeah, I mean, it's circumcised, so I'm gonna assume it's definitely a Western very average, normal Caucasian penis.
Okay.
That's what we're working with.
That's what's up.
Going back though, before the Batman Wang, you made a comment, Crystal, about the type of character that you would resonate with is a character that's like yourself. Yeah. Another thing that is very interesting. There's a group of people, right? They tend to be the group of people that have been most represented in society. So typically white men. I hear the sentiment a lot of like, oh, I don't really care what race or what gender or what sexual orientation this character is. I just want a good written character that has depth. And they, you know, a lot of people have that opinion, and oftentimes I feel like it's almost like a place of privilege. Like you don't even care about race anymore because you've been the race most represented, so it's not even a thing that you think about because it's just the default. It's always there. Whereas like me growing up, I can't really remember a lot of Black or Hispanic people that are represented like really positively in a prominent role in like a movie. Like there of course they exist, and I mean I've seen a bunch of them, but it was not like, you know, just watching movies growing up. It was just across the board, mostly white men. And the same thing for video games. Like even still, like just looking at like the lead characters, the genders, the races, like stuff like that, it's just most of the time they're just white men.
Yep. Yeah, Pooch, list me 5 Latinx superheroes.
Miles Morales. There's the other Spider-Man
2099.
The Mexican guy. I like that guy too. Oof. I'm losing it right there.
Yep.
That's where I'm dropping off. I could think of 2. And yeah. And I like Spider-Man, so I'm in my head.
Storm was, I think Storm's origin is Middle Eastern, I believe.
She was Halle Berry.
Her origin is Halle Berry.
Origin is Halle Berry.
I believe Storm's origins were somewhere in the area of like Egypt, or somewhere in that ballpark, I think. Yeah, I can't think of.
Yeah, it'd be like America
prominent.
Chavez. Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight, and that Moon Knight series is coming out. I'm pretty stoked about that. I think that series is going to be awesome. I love Oscar Isaac.
But Moon Knight is not. Moon Knight's a white dude, isn't he?
I think they've changed it over where his origin's a little murkier in this new one, but I'm not positive yet. But I mean, Oscar Isaac is a Latinx actor, so we're gonna claim him. We're claiming the live action version of it.
No, that's a good question though, because I can't think of a lot of Hispanic superheroes or even minority superheroes. Really, right. I'm not sure.
And if you're a Black superhero, they always toss the word Black into your name. Like
Black Panther.
Wasn't Spawn Black though?
Spawn was Black. Yes.
Right.
Spawn
was a cool hero. I thought that was cool.
Can we talk about how I thought, like, dude, I want to go to Wakanda. Like, Black Panther was amazing, and it had so much great representation, but the culture, like, they took it to, the inner city and how they're using that privilege to help that specific. I just feel like that's the important stuff. If you're going to write these characters, like, make them wholesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, make them representative of their struggles. So because that exists. I fucking love the Black Panther movie. It's so good.
I think maybe the hardest thing to do is to write a character that's not a straight up hero, like, and actually represent them properly without just falling into racial stereotypes, right? I've been rewatching Breaking Bad, and almost every Hispanic character, Black character you see in that show is just, they're a drug dealer, and that's their entire personality, just drug dealer. This guy is gonna get killed or just die off screen, or he's just a bad person because he's just a drug dealer.
Wasn't that the norm back in the day? I mean, like, again, I grew up 80s and 90s. I do feel like minorities were typically, depending on what race you were, you may have typically been represented as the villain or the antagonist, or you had a small part. We just haven't had a lot of main characters, or like you said, not a lot of superheroes, or like the oldest Brinks security commercials I can remember as a kid always had this wealthy white family and the house is getting broken into by a person of color. It was like that was the MO for like 10 years. They just but that messaging over and over and over to a young person who's very influential may not they can't logically process that like an adult. So that's why I think it's really important that we're shaking shit up.
Yeah, absolutely. Wakanda is that's fantastic. Like the Black Panther film, fantastic representation. Absolutely.
And X-Men, as written, like in the comic book series, like the original series, and then the movies, the cartoon, all that stuff. They've always the whole idea of the X-Men, the idea of the mutant and things like that. It's all like a critique on racism, on homophobia, on things like that. Like all the protesting that's taking place. Like the population of America is incredibly anti-mutant, and a lot of what the writers were writing about was just the critique of being anti-gay or being anti-black, and then they've also made efforts to, like you mentioned, there's Storm, there's a number of characters that they're from all over the globe. Like X-Men really tries to incorporate like characters from everywhere, and I thought that was cool as a kid. So like as a young kid, one of the first things that I could like really identify with, I remember like, yo, Bishop is a black man. I remember thinking that was like really fucking cool. You know what I mean? As a kid, I was like, yo, look, like, that's it. We made it. Like we're in the X-Men.
He had that
like,
cool eye too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass. Detroit Become Human. Absolutely love that game.
Very good.
Now I don't know, because it turns out David Cage is kind of a fucking asshole. So I don't know if he meant it this way, but like getting you to sympathize with these intelligent AI beings and watching, humans treat them poorly and watch them try to peacefully protest and get met with violence. To me, every time I played that game, I felt like that was undertones of the struggles that some people have had. I don't know if he meant it that way, but that was, I really enjoyed that that game to me personally. I thought that was pretty awesome.
That was one of the better parts.
That game
of that
looked
game.
like they jacked like a story from Isaac Asimov or something, and that is a big theme in all his books, is like robot racism and stuff. Which I don't know, like the movie I, Robot, for example, like how they hated the robots and stuff like that. Yeah, also that's super cool. I don't actually know if David Cage intended that, but obviously, I don't know. The guy's a fucking asshole. And he's done, like Dowie alluded to before we started recording, some of his representation of characters is a little odd. Like, all these dudes are French, like, right? Quantic Dreams is it French?
It's
Canadian
French.
or French?
Yeah.
It's a French, like French studio.
Yeah, it's funny listening to these characters that are supposed to be like, oh, this guy is from fucking Pittsburgh, and what game were we playing? Though?
I think it was Philadelphia.
Heavy Rain, and the guy's got like a French accent. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Everybody has a French accent, and you're like, what's going on?
Except for one guy, Paco.
Oh.
No, they had more of a Canadian. That was more of a French Canadian accent. Accent, wasn't it? I feel like that was a little more French Canadian in that game.
Maybe that was intentional, because if it was in Detroit, like maybe it was Philly. I don't know. The game was funny. The Paco character was so fucking like stereotypically this like Mexican drug dealing gangbanger guy.
Hey, lady.
Yeah.
My name is Paco. Hey, lady.
Oh yeah, he was so sexual. He wanted to fuck the living shit out of the one reporter lady. It was terrible.
Paige.
You know who is overly sexual? The Book of Love in It Takes Two, dude. That's the first scene he's in. He's air humping.
Oh yeah, I still haven't finished that game. I need to finish that. Yeah, I want to finish that game so bad.
Where are those guys from? They're foreign too. They're not American.
Are they? Wait, no, they are.
Yeah, it's that crazy dude that ran up on stage and just started swearing and going off.
Hazel Light, Joseph
Ferris, yeah, maybe
Hazel
Portuguese. Ferris. Yeah.
Hazel
not sure.
Light Studios. Where are they? Joseph Ferris.
You're doing.
They're
While Chris is
they're-
looking this up.
He's from Lebanon.
Stockholm, Sweden, but they're owned by Electronic Arts.
Doey,
Yeah.
let's have you give a shout out to our channel. Tell those people what they need to do if they've been listening this far.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the listeners for their dedication. There's about 20 of you guys. I'd like to thank all of you in a row,
And
okay?
they're consistent.
Yes. I want to shout out to Teddy. I want to shout out to we have a lot of people that come by and they stop and they shout out us. We have some people from the Great Debate Game podcast that have been coming by, leaving comments. And I want you guys to know, if you've been listening this far, tell us what's your favorite character in a game, whether it be human, not human, female, not female. I tend to like Bayonetta. It's very sexy, very kick-ass character.
It's very on brand.
Does not seem like she would have sex with a man though. She seems like the alpha. She seems like she'd be pegging somebody.
Damn.
Dominatrix.
Yes. But I want
I
to
love
thank
you
you guys
so much right now.
I want to thank you guys very much for coming to our channel and watching us and being a part of our family. The Whore Connoisseur, thank you. I want to drop a comment in the chat, just expressing how you feel about this topic, maybe the future topics to come. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, ring-a-ling, the ding-a-ling bell, make sure that you're getting all those notifications. Very important thing. It helps us grow. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, not on Pandora yet. Still waiting. Still awaiting.
Pending.
If you ask me, there's nobody in the offices to even accept the pending requests. I don't think there's anybody. If anybody is home anymore, they just left that running, like how MTV kind of runs ridiculousness all day, and they just like, who's in control here? But I'd like, please subscribe. Please share our videos. If you have anybody that you know that would appreciate this type of content. And I'd like to thank us a lot. We've been doing our thing. This is year 2 of the One Up podcast, and we'd like to thank you a lot.
Good job.
I love it. I'm a fan.
We love you too, Chris.
We appreciate you.
Before we run off, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I know.
final thoughts before we go. I wasn't trying to jump us to the next one quite yet.
We harped a lot on how people view representation in games. What's your favorite representation? Like, you're in a game, what's a character that you felt like, oh, they represented something, some characteristic of the world really well?
Finn and Miles, 100%. They're just perfect. They nailed it. Miles wasn't just like a fucking Spider-Man. He was fucking Miles. And like him and Finn was such a strong female character. Like just such a well-written, their story together was incredibly beautiful. And I don't want to say, I know there's a lot of people who haven't played it, but her moral ambiguity was perfection, because I felt like she was a very real world character. Like when money is limited and you don't have the best schools where you live, right? Like I just felt like they nailed the real world struggles that these two kids had, and like the burden they had, especially he had being just like Goosebumps. I just felt like those were some of the best two characters I've ever experienced in a game. Just amazing. They were just fucking nailed.
Go.
I personally, I would have to go back and say like Bayonetta. Off the top of my head, I really appreciate her as a character. I really could play anything that she's in. I just love her so much. I appreciate her in gaming. I think she brought a good strong, powerful female to, and not every female has to be powerful, but I think as like a superhero, I like that she be spanking.
No one's saving Bayonetta. She's gonna save her own damn self.
Yeah.
That is a trope that is a thing when you, I mean, at least back in the day, if you watch Disney, they pretty much told you if you're female, you're a damsel in distress, wait for Prince Charming to rescue you. And Bayonetta does not need a Prince Charming at all. I get that.
She's kicking ass.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
I was waiting for the name. I was like, is he gonna call himself? Is he gonna call me? The suspense got me.
Shout out to my female Oblivion character, Jamila. She could do backflips.
Wow.
Right?
She's got that 100 jump.
She was
dangerous name.
For me, honestly, the game Guacamelee made me so happy. I thought it was so cool to see like just Mexican culture just being the entirety of the game. That's the entire narrative. It drives the narrative. It drives the style. It drives. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was just such a fun, colorful game. I thought it was a cool way to represent my people.
Beautiful game. I played that on my PS Vita. One of my favorite. That's a PS Vita gem.
Not to mention, it was just a damn good game. Like, it's just a solid, fun little beat 'em up, brawling game, and the luchador vibes in it were just so much fun.
Yes,
right. It ticked off a lot of boxes. It was funny. There was an interesting setting. I mean, it's like Mexican Day of the Dead. It's like what Coco wanted to go for, except not quite as well as this game. So play this instead.
Damn, that's a spicy take.
It's a Metroidvania. You know how I'm a Metroidvania horror. It was just really fucking good. And then his moves, they're like akin to like Street Fighter, you know? It's got the Ryu uppercut. You guys, if you haven't played it, Guacamelee is fire. It's fire.
It's a must play.
Are you walking?
Severed. Another female character, Severed. Also from the Guacamelee people.
And
Really?
also,
Severed.
I think Mexican, right?
Yes, that's also like a Mexican-themed game. Very good game. If none of you've ever played it, Severed, Guacamelee people. So it's kind of got that aesthetic to it, but it's a completely different direction they went.
I need to
They're
check
not
that out.
from Mexico either. I thought that at first.
Huh.
Yeah.
What about you, Pooch?
I have a few, okay? There's a female character with a gun in the NES. I don't even know her name. In the Nintendo Friday the 13th video game. She was my favorite character. She had a gun. And I thought it was cool because it made me feel weird. Like I'm playing with a girl. And I remember having that feeling as a kid. Like, because it was uncommon. And I was like, I'm gonna keep using the girl because she got the gun. And then Jill Valentine stole my heart. It's one of my favorite all-time.
I was just about to say that. I was like, yo, I never picked Chris. What, a knife?
Never picked Chris. Fuck that knife. Fuck that knife. Jill
What
Valentine
is
all
this?
day. I feel like it was a reference because she too started with the gun. Okay. And then there's a ton of others. Like Ellie from The Last of Us, one of my favorites. Like she is a strong character, but also very, very she's very bare. She's very sensitive. She's
raw.
She's not like the super strong, like, you know, exactly. Yeah, she's raw. And, you know, she's gay, and it's part of her character. I mean, obviously it's a big part of her character, but it's not like, it's not her ultimate drive or anything like that. I felt like they did a good job of trying to represent the different aspects of her character without making any one thing, like being a woman, needing even revenge. I mean, spoilers for The Last of Us 2. She doesn't get it. All right. It's amazing. All right. I love it. And I love her. She's the best.
She is very well written. That Left Behind DLC, like that is they really kind of nailed the mental thought process of like, am I attracted to the same set? Like they did such a good job writing those characters.
Mm-hmm. And my favorite people are the people that are so pissed off at The Last of Us 2, talking about this SJW bullshit. They made Ellie gay, and I'm like, she was gay in the first game. You fucking idiots.
There's an entire scene about it.
Yeah. So
Not only that, I like the way Abby was written in as well. As a female character, I appreciate her dedication to gym culture.
For real. For real. I'm
wish I
jealous
was
of
represented.
Abby's. I'm jealous of Abby's guns. My fat ass ain't going to the fucking gym, but I'm still.
You
I'm jealous of her
remember
guns.
the Pornhub sub, the one with the really strong woman, and she's like,
This is one of
That's what I
Doey's
need.
dreams.
Now we're getting somewhere, folks. This is a
right.
deeper discussion.
this is for afterwards. But just imagine the image: laying bare, butt naked, fully erect in Abby's arms.
Like a
Every
baby.
curl, like a baby.
Like a baby.
Every curl
Oh
that
my
Abby
God.
does, she's getting a workout, and then you're. All right. I think it's TMI. All right. I think it's too much.
No, I think this is hilarious, actually.
You
what
fill
I
in the
need.
rest, okay? She curls you. You're butt naked, erect.
"It's what I need."
Things happen.
Doey wants it. It's this
I
fantasy.
mean,
I need it. I need it.
that's not for me, but I'm too dominant for that. But I'm like, I could be your Abby. If that's
Oh wow.
So, related to that exact topic we just had, do y'all think that we should pay full price for games, or do you wait for games to go on sale, or is there a moral decision that goes into which one of the two is better? What are your thoughts on that? Let's start with Pucho. I know that Pucho has lots of strong opinions about damn near everything.
Normally, I don't care too much about what price people purchase their games. I typically have some people, some developers, things like that I'm just like, all right, cool. Edmund McMillan, you're gonna make a game, I'm gonna buy that shit ASAP, full price, because I love your games, and even though they're not all great, they're unique, and I want to buy that game. So there's definitely games where I just refuse to buy them on sale. I just want to buy them day one because like I feel like I owe it to them. Like Rocket League, I got it for free on PS Plus. I made it an effort to purchase every single DLC that came out because I'm like, I've got like I think that and Overwatch are my most played games. I have like 600 hours on Rocket League, and I got the game for free. And it's one of my favorite games. I was just playing it the other day. It's like 7 years old, and I'm still playing it. You know what I mean?
I still fire that up for 5 minutes every like couple weeks or so, and just play a couple of rounds. Like,
it's good. Yeah. So I don't know. Fuck all them people that make that want to shit on the Game Pass people. They can all eat a fucking dick. Fuck it. It's a service. It's here. It's here to stay, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view it. I have my opinions on it. I feel like the whole discount, especially with the Steam sales, all that shit. I think it changed the way people make games, and it changed movies. It changed music, even like just the streaming. Right, albums are short now. Like it's not common that albums are long. Songs are short because they want more streams. Like so, it's like that's gonna factor into whatever the however the fuck Game Pass is paying developers to put their games on there. It's going to impact how they make games, like for better or for worse, whatever that means. But fuck it. I mean, it's capitalism, baby. It's there. We're gonna pay for whatever the fuck we think is worth it. And it's up to the people that are making this stuff to react accordingly. And
in that same line of thought, I've said this on the podcast before. This is a belief that I stand by. I think that the only thing that really matters for the average person in the world is where you spend your damn money, right? That's the only that's one of the biggest impacts that we have. I think voting's important. I think that where you spend your money is important. I think those are two principles in my life. So I do think, much like Pucho, there are certain developers that I will just straight up buy day one. Like I want them to make more of that. So that's where I get into the moral aspect of it. I think that if it's a developer you enjoy, they make good games you enjoy, maybe it would behoove you to pay the full price just so they see those day one sales and they can be like, okay, we are making content that people want. And they're not having to look at 12 months down the line when the Steam winter sale happens. And then people are like, oh, 50% off. That's the price I want. Now I can finally play this game.
I think it's good in a sense that in the past 10 years, we've seen a lot of games try to go way too big beyond their scope. Everything had to be open world this last 10 years. If you think about it, what game didn't try to go open world? Not all of it needs to be open world, though.
Those are the buzzwords now. It's open world, roguelite.
Yeah, well, roguelite's my favorite type of game. And when you describe a roguelite, you're usually describing an indie game, which has not so many things to hit, and they hit it perfectly, which is why I like roguelites in indie games, is that they're a smaller vision, and they're aiming for this one thing, and they have certain bars to hit, and as long as they hit those bars, they made the game they were trying to make. When you're making an open world game where you have driving mechanics, fighting mechanics, stealth mechanics, all these mechanics mixed into one, if you don't get it right, you're asked the fuck out. Your game sucks. It's just not gonna catch people in the right manner. But I think there has been like good usage. I think if Xbox continues to grow the way that we are consuming all of our other media streaming wise, we are taking in Netflix, the way we're taking in Apple Music or Spotify, and the way we consume podcasts, we're consuming it in a way where we're not paying per episode, per stream, you know what I mean, per stream. Before we used to buy the album. Now you don't have to buy the album. If you want to buy the album, which I do so I could put on my turntable, you have that option. But you don't necessarily need to buy things anymore to experience them. And I expect games, whether it be good or bad for it, I think it's good because I think you got to bring scopes down. A little bit, and I think once you start to do that, it's healthy.
I think you're right. I think you covered it. The way that we consume media has changed completely. You go take a time machine back 30 years ago and go tell someone on the street, it's like, in the future, we're not even going to buy any albums. All music would just come directly into your ears. you have unlimited music in your pocket. Like, blow their mind. The way that we consume media has completely changed. It used to be a flex to pull out that big CD binder from under your seat and have all the options for music to put on for the drive.
You'd
We
put
didn't
my
even
My
have
CD
cover.
changer in my car was a flex, okay?
That's a flex.
6 CD changer in my car. All right. And
I
thought it
had
was
one
the
of
greatest
those.
thing.
I had one of those too.
I
did.
have the honors of saying that I created some of the bangers for the
I
album.
would say 85% of the bangers were straight from Doey's computer. Straight from the
Damn.
Pirate Bay.
Allegedly.
I mean, 30 years ago, I was 10. We didn't even have household internet. So you'd put a cassette tape in. And then when a song you wanted came on the radio, you would record it on your cassette tape. That's how we made mixtapes.
Yep.
So that's
school.
yeah.
But to that point, though, I think gaming is just finally catching up to the rest of the media and the way that we consume it. That's why Game Pass is suddenly such a big thing. I mean, Humble Monthly was around for the longest time, but it did not have anywhere near the traction that a service like, Game Pass from one of the biggest game developers and platforms in the world. It's interesting. It's cool I think it's cool to see it change a little bit.
I still buy records. I have 3 boxes of vinyl records. I still buy albums. I still buy movies. I buy video games. It's what I'm used to. That's just, it's what I'm used to. I have subscription services. I've got streaming services. I have Game Pass. A lot of business is adapt or die. I love gaming, and I'm going to adapt to whatever I have to adapt to in order to game. I have no judgment on how people spend their money. It's their money to spend. That ain't my business. I just love video games. I'll buy it if I want to buy. If I got to stream it, however I got to get it, I'm going to get it. So I'll buy, I'll stream. I just want to enjoy stuff. The Game Pass is great. Buying games is great. Having one system is great. Multiple systems is great. Just do you, have fun, and don't worry about how somebody else be spending their money.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns like some of these loud people on the internet that Game Pass might kill some gaming quality and kill some aspect of gaming culture?
I mean,
do you think Game Pass is a good thing for indie developers or a bad thing?
I mean, I honestly don't. I don't know the numbers. I don't know what developers are getting paid. I can't, but I know that I can still walk into a Walmart and there are aisles of DVDs and CDs that people still buy. I mean, people are still consuming them this many years later. I mean, I think it's good. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Sure, it's possible that making games multi-plat can change the way they're optimized. It's possible that budgets can change. They can go bigger or smaller. Anything's possible. I have a curiosity of the business side. I mean, I love business. I'm curious about that, but I'm not going to let that interfere with how much I love gaming. It is what it is. If changes get made that I don't like, which happens, I'm going to try to find a way to enjoy the medium as best I can. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of on the I've heard both sides, and I think both sides have very respectable opinions. I do understand the fear-based stuff, and I really do truly understand both sides. I think both sides are reasonable, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Wow, so I told all those reasonable people to go eat it. No, I don't know. I kind of view the people that are like so afraid of Game Pass. Mind you, this is coming from one of the number one PlayStation fanboys. Okay, I'm 99 point. I've never owned an Xbox ever. Like I got a Nintendo console and my PlayStation. And I pay for Game Pass because I think it's a cool service. And
yeah, but you PC game though. You game on a PC.
I play games on PC as well.
So like, I mean, if you play on a PC, I don't have a PC, so I need a Series X. But you technically you are consuming that. You're just doing it on different hardware, in my opinion.
Sure. But I guess I'm saying like historically, I've never played Gears of War. I played Halo 1 for the first time in 2021. You know what I mean? Like I just totally missed the boat on everything Microsoft made. And I'm a supporter of Game Pass and what they're doing. And I don't know, I kind of view like the people that are like so afraid of Game Pass and the impacts that it's going to have on gaming and stuff like that. I kind of feel like it's like the guy complaining that like a car was invented and now like the horse messenger guy is going to lose his job because now it's going to be like a car messenger. And it's just like shit changes like as time moves on, technology changes and our solutions to problems are going to change. And then the market is going to adapt to this new stuff. I haven't bought a physical game in over 7 years. Like I just purely digital. Right?
2017 for me, Horizon Zero Dawn was when I was like, I'm never buying a physical media ever again. And I just started moving into digital only.
I guess mine might be 2019. That's the last time I bought a PS4 game because my PS5 is all digital. My computer obviously doesn't even have an optical drive anymore. I buy as much as I can physical. There's something I'm just used to it, like the sound of the cellophane, the little snap when you open it.
I miss smelling the fucking game.
The only thing I will say about game, I haven't used Game Pass a lot. I don't play a lot of games. I just don't have the time. If I did have the time and I could play a fuck ton of games, Game Pass would be, so I don't play a lot of games. So for me, it might be it might be more cost efficient to say, I'm just going to buy a $70 game and play it 40 fucking times because that's what Crystal does. But if you like have the time to say, I'm going to play 5 fucking games this month, it's a great value. It's not going to be for everybody. That's okay. I think that the thing that scares me, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think that like this is the little bit of boomer scare in me that I have with some of the ways that gaming is changing, is the combination of services like Game Pass with this moving idea that a lot of game developers have of games as a service being the model going forward, just these forever games, basically, this metaverse idea that's fostering. I've got some concerns about that. I've got concerns about the potential of us just being in microtransaction hell for games that we never actually own, that could be removed from a game service at any time. And then that too.
You've got digital nonsense that isn't good for nothing else.
I totally understand that. I have some of those same. The concern is there for sure for me.
There's this.
I feel you.
There's this game I saw the other day on Steam. I was looking for something new to play. And this game is called Craftopia, and this game is ridiculous. If you get a chance, go look at a trailer, go read a description of it, because this is the everything game. This game is Minecraft. It's got Pokemon in it. It's got Monster Hunter vibes. It's got Breath of the Wild. Like, there's a straight up, like, just a thing that you hold and you glide across caverns. And it's every single game. There's fishing in it. It's just every game mashed into one. It's everything you could ever possibly want. And I've heard it's one of the most jankiest gaming experiences in the world because they're just trying to cram everything into there.
I don't know. I definitely have my concerns when it comes to like Game Pass being like the main thing. I guess I have two thoughts, because I also wanted to comment on the whole microtransaction thing. I would hope that people would spend their money in such a way that, like you said, where we spend our money says almost everything about what we feel about things. And if there's a game that we feel do it the wrong way, I would hope that we don't buy into it and that gets removed from the market. Like Rocket League is in microtransaction hell. It's got the fucking loot boxes. It's got the keys. It's got there's like 17 different currencies in that game, and I don't give a fuck. I just want to keep fucking scoring goals on people and watching the whole entire replay of it. Okay,
I'm driving in the same van that I tricked out when I was playing with y'all like 3 years ago. I'm in that same big, obnoxious yellow or bright blue van.
So
How else do you keep a game alive that long?
Hopefully you don't have to.
You add shit to it. I don't know. I mean, Destiny figured that.
Do you get money for people online playing? I don't think so. I think it's like after purchases, like you have to like pay your developers at some point, right?
I am a fan of season passes. I think Sea of Thieves is a game that does it incredibly well. They do
South Park Foreign Destroyer.
I don't know about that one.
Why do you infuse your bullshit?
Because you didn't call that one out specifically when you were listing games he can't talk about. I think Sea of Thieves does it incredibly. All their stuff is cosmetic. There's no game advantage. There's no pay to win. It's just you pay into the season pass, you get some extra cosmetic shit.
Can I ask a quick question and just go around the board? If PlayStation was gonna release an Game Pass type of service, what is the maximum amount of dollar that you would pay for that type of service for day one PlayStation exclusives? I would say $50 a month. That's where I would start at.
Like,
God.
That's
50?
expensive.
$50 a
Maybe
month.
Maybe I'm bugging. $35.99. That's still a lot.
That's
still
expensive.
high. That's still high, but I'll be the highest. Let's just, I'll range it. Yeah.
All right. I was going to say, before you said only PlayStation exclusives, I was like, all right, I'd be willing to pay $30, depending on how far back. Imagine they put every fucking game, like the PS1 games, the PS. I'm like, all right, I would spend forever playing
for
games.
that
You know
for
what I
that
mean?
price. Yeah, because if I can go back to like the PS3, the PS2, yes, take Jim, Daddy, I will write you a check right fucking now. Like if I can play those games, yes,
Take me.
I would.
Take me.
Yeah, take me, Bayonetta style, baby. Give it to me.
You want to get spanked?
I just want some of those old games, man. Like that is a cool thing. I'm gonna admit I primarily play on PlayStation. I love the DualSense. I like their exclusives. They're my kind of games. I'm not saying they're better. They cater to me and what I like as a gamer. I think that Xbox's back compatible ecosystem is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. One of the things that is appealing to me right now about Game Pass is I can go and say, I can pull up this older game, and instead of firing it up on the PS3 and playing it on the world's tiniest fucking remote, I can play it on the Xbox remote and get some next-gen benefits. I'm liking that system. But I would also pay money to Sony for a monthly fee, especially if I could get older games too. But I'm also a physical buyer though. I would still buy the games and waste fucking space. Why am I wasting space? Why am I wasting closet space on 400,000 fucking movies? I don't know.
That's a lot. I appreciate collectors though. I think collectors are so interesting because I have certain things that I collect, but like I'm not as hardcore into it as some people. My brother was super into Pokemon when Pokemon first came out, and he had probably 20 shelves in his apartment dedicated to just Pokemon stuff. Anything Pokemon that came out.
I'm not even trying to collect it. It's literally just I'm doing what I'm used to. That's literally all it is. It's just that's my consumer habits from being born when I was born. It's literally that simple for me. It's just that's my habit.
I love the idea of physical stuff. I feel like as time has gone on, I remember I bought like a PS3 game, and when I opened up the case, the manual was like one sheet of like paper stock, like cardstock paper. Like,
I hated that.
It was just like one thing was like, here's the art, and on the back was like, here's a fucking coupon to buy a DLC or something. I was like, it's like, all right. So all I'm really getting is so like I started getting turned off. But for me, I do love the physical stuff. Like Mateo, I do appreciate collectors. And like some of my fondest memories in the world are like going to a friend's house and seeing like one of my friends, his older brother, one of my friend's older brother, every single week he would come home with like 1 or 2 PS1 games. And he had this shelf in his room that was just a bunch of those just like crystal cases, and I would just sit there and just pull games off the shelf and look at it and put it back in, and I could just do that forever as a kid. Like going to Funko Land as a kid was the most amazing, most magical place in the world. Just seeing shelves and shelves and shelves of games, like it was just beautiful.
Super NES, N64, PlayStation 1, game art, impeccable. Like I love this so much. I have a pretty serious collection of PS3, PS2, PS1 games in like a storage unit. Very proud of it.
There's something about it being tangible. Again, that could just be when I was born and how I was raised, but I just feel like if I can see it and touch it and smell it, it means more to me. I don't know why. I also like that I can loan games. Like my buddy, like, you want to borrow this game? I'll borrow that game. Great. Let's exchange games.
No, you're right. One of the biggest fears of my life, and it sounds really depressing because I have a kid and I got a house. I got a lot of things that I could be afraid of, right? Was I got logged out of my PlayStation account, and when I tried to log in, it just gave me like a weird error that I'm not familiar with. And I was like, oh shit, I got like 300 digital games on here. Like, if I don't log back into my account, they're just fucking gone. Like,
that's
scary. And that's another downside of the whole digital, the idea of like digital games. It's you don't really own this shit. Like,
so I'm not really buying into any of the NFT hype train. I think it's bad for the environment. I think there's a lot of concerns there. But
you read my mind though.
But
you read my mind.
If they worked NFTs in where I could resell my games or loan games to other people digitally, they might swing my opinion a little bit more favorably in favor of NFTs.
Yeah,
that would be fire.
Because like all right, right now, the whole internet, I shouldn't say the whole internet because there's a big chunk of people, but that feel opposite. But the gaming space, it just feels like everywhere I look, everybody's shitting on NFTs. But there's a couple cool applications, I think. The idea of me being able to get banned off of an account or something like that, and just having some digital hash that represents what I own, like all the shit that I own, I could go and play that wherever else. Maybe that account gets banned, I could create a new, right, whatever. And just being able to like, okay, yeah, this hash represents all the bullshit that Pucho owns. Like I could like that. Like I don't know, that sounds cool to me. Like, and of course, it's not that. It's only solvable with NFTs. It's just like the idea of an NFT makes it, I think, easier to solve. Like another thing like that they brought up. I'm not even trying to make this an NFT conversation because I also find NFTs to be incredibly dumb, like 99% of the time. They're saying like one application's like you buy like all these skins or or things like that through like this NFT like, and that would have all the, like, for example, any games you play that are like, let's say an Epic game or something, like it'll have all your skins, and then it's like, all right, you play this other like car game, let's say, and all those skins you bought for like this, I don't know, your guns and some Call of Duty game. I know it's not Epic, I'm just talking bullshit. But you got all these skins that go on guns, and then you play this car game, and then all those skins you bought, maybe there's like some car variant of that thing. And it's like, again, you know, with all these linked accounts, that is another way you could solve it without an NFT. But it's like again, it's one of those things, like with new technology, there's always going to be new and unique ways to apply these things. I don't know. I find like the knee-jerk reaction of hating anything that has to do with NFTs and games like a little like weird. Like, I know they're dumb, like the way that we've seen, like, oh, this fucking video of a guy opening up a Pokemon card deck and getting a rare card sold for $57,000. You're like, what the fuck does that even mean? A video that
NFTs that we've seen them so far have basically been pyramid schemes. The problem is they're a solution looking for a problem to solve. I think that bringing the idea of lending games or reselling digital games would be one of the few problems I can think of that they would actually potentially have a good solution for. But that's a future topic. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Crystal, I would love you to give a shout out to your show, because I think that if our audience is not familiar with you, they are doing themselves a disservice. So tell us what your show's about. Give our audience, give us the why, the elevator pitch on why they should give you a listen.
Yeah, I mean, the Game Junky Show is literally a community show. I just use my platform to help everyone have a voice, to help give them a place where they can be heard and they can be loved and accepted. And it's just, it's about bringing everybody together. Just people can come on the show freely. Indie devs can come on the show freely. It's literally, it's not really about me and my opinions. It's about all of us and ways that we can come together, understand where other people come from, have a chance to express ourselves, and just create a family who's in love with the medium and can just love and support everybody through all the differences of opinion that includes. So it's just me and whomever else wants to come on the show, and we just talk about whatever people decide we need to talk about. It's pretty simple.
I enjoy it. I think your ability to steer conversation and keep it on task and on topic and insightful is, I'm envious of that ability. I think it's fantastic. Oh, yeah. You have some top-notch interviewing skills. You have some top-notch conversation steering skills.
Her hosting is impeccable. I've got to admit, like, her hosting got me. I really appreciate your punctual.
Having been the only member of the One Up podcast that has made an appearance on the Game Junky Show, I could also attest. I was incredibly impressed by Crystal might have anywhere between like 2 to like 6 guests on her show, and it feels, all the questions that she asks seem incredibly prepared. I mean, if you're used to us,
they're not. That whole thing is so made up.
We don't know what the fuck we're ever talking about.
We're a garbage can on fire floating down a river is what we are sometimes.
I'm not that different though. I really don't. I'm a very like on the fly person. I would normally encourage people to prepare, but the more I prepare, the more I overthink myself, and then I appreciate you saying that, but when people say something, that's what spawns my thought. So like if I went into it thinking about what I want to say, that's counterintuitive of the reason I wanted to start the show. It's about, what do people have to say? What does that spark in me that makes, so it's which you all have been on, by the way. Pucho's just been on twice, so he can brag. Pucho one up y'all's asses. So it's really like, that's really kind of the idea, is people give me the inspiration on deciding what question I'm going to ask next, because it's coming from those people. And I actually love that. That's my favorite part, is I get so many perspectives on one thing. So every single episode I come out going, oh, that's something I didn't think of, or that's something I didn't know. That's what's so awesome about it.
and that's exactly what I'm gonna say. Is that it feels incredibly prepared. Like you're like, that's such a good fucking question. It's like she listened to everything that everybody said, and she processed it and said, okay, this is where we're gonna steer the conversation next. And it feels so planned. But then I'm like, wait, there's like 7 people, and we're going into like 17 different tangents, and the thing that she's asking a question about isn't even related to the question she asked previously, because the conversation hit that many tangents. I'm like, there's no way this was actually prepared. And I found it incredibly impressive. I don't know how it is that you're able to listen to the nonsense that so many people are saying and then come up with such a such an understanding question, and that drives the conversation another way that it's just like that. I don't know. I found it impressive.
It brings it brings it all together. It brings it into like you find like the essence of what everyone has just said in their little spiel. And you're like, oh, here's the golden question that relates to everything that everyone just said.
Exactly.
I kind of always been that way. I've just always been able to like parse out what people say and then quickly process a train of thought. I don't know. I guess that's just the way my brain is wired.
So where can people find you? Like, I know you're on YouTube, but where else?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. My channel is just Crystal D. Smith. I just wanted to be me. I don't have like a clever moniker or anything like that. And then on Twitter and Instagram, I'm C Smith Shine.
Cool. We're going to have your socials, your information in the description of every episode. So if y'all are interested, which you should be, just look in the description below. We'll hook you up with her.
It's a very flattering thing to say about me. Ellen DeGeneres is giving her show over to a straight person. She should have called me. I'm clearly a decent host. Like, somebody write Ellen. Ellen.
You're way more qualified than any straight person.
I'm just kidding. Kristen Bell's awesome. She's going to do well on the show.
Kristen Bell is delightful.
I love her. She's so funny. I love her.
Speaking of relationships and how to foster them and building communities, there are a lot of relationships in gaming. We're talking platonic, we're talking romantic. We just want to talk about some of the best gaming relationships that
and the worst
that pop into our mind. Doe, you start us off.
I love Resident Evil 5. Chris and Sheva. Chris. It was one of my favorite things.
That's an accurate quote, by the way. That happens in the game.
I can't. When Doey laughs, I can't. I just fucking can't. I cannot. You cannot have a bad day and listen to Doey laugh. It's fucking impossible.
I try.
You hear that, Doey? Does that make you feel good?
That. Yeah, it makes me feel.
I literally, there are literally times. I mean, you guys are family. I think about you a lot, but there are literally times when I'm doing something funny and I'm like, I just want Doey here laughing to make it like more enjoyable.
That strikes at my heart like Chris striking that boulder in Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, he fucking punches the living shit out of a rock. Many times. It's impressive.
Got to get that big foot up on it, though.
That also, you remember that boss?
Yeah,
with the big pata with the big foot with the Gatling gun.
All right. So to piggyback off Doey's answer of Resident Evil 5, okay. A gaming relationship that's fostered in Resident Evil 5 is the relationship with the person you're playing co-op with. Holy shit. It is a love and hate relationship. Some people load up the game and sell all of your weapons when you're not in their house so that they have extra cash to upgrade their weapons, so that when you get over to your friend's house again to play online with them, all your shit is gone and you're questioning what happened. That's a piece of a shitty person named Doe, who has apparently the greatest laugh on the internet, some would say.
Okay.
Doey sold my shit when I wasn't around, and it hurt my feelings.
Now this is stellar for people who are listening, like via a podcast and not watching, are missing the dynamic of like Doey's face, knowing this is about him and not saying shit, and then like Pucho not being super obvious at first. That was fantastic. Now people listening are gonna have to come watch it just for that because
Look
that
at
was
that.
such a good thing to see.
Now we got 2 views.
Yeah. We got the audio download and the YouTube views. So thank you.
There's the great story of me just playing the game when he wasn't around. He had this stun rod, and he was I love my
Favorite
stun rod, He's stunning everybody. He's like, wait, let me stun rod them. Bam! And then I'd shoot them after he loved the stun rod. And there was one day I was playing and I was like, man, I don't have enough money for this upgrade, but if I sell the stun rod for 150, which is like the most minuscule amount of money.
You did not. You did. You did.
I sold it. And my brother was in the background watching, and he's like, oh, and he called Pucho. And he's like, bro, I gotta tell you something. He just sold your stun rod. Yo, Pucho never came to my house quicker than he's ever came before.
That's fantastic. My buddy played. He would come over to my house to play he was playing Infamous, and he was like, I'm gonna be an asshole. So he had the save where it's all bad.
Yeah.
I got piss ass drunk one night and thought I was starting a new game and fucking saved over his shit. He was so pissed off. He was like, motherfucker. I was like, it's my fucking PS5 anyway, bro. Or PS3 anyway, bro. But I feel like that's less bad than selling a fucking stun rod. Dude, you were sober.
No, it was completely selfish. It was the death of local co-op games, some would say. Ever since, they're just not in games anymore. They realize we can't enable people like Doe to sell people stuff.
Doey doesn't even try to hide it, though. Like, Doey has no fucking chill on, like he has no poker face at all.
No. I was shamelessly, I was like...
The man's a menace to play damn near any multiplayer online game with.
Yeah. But
I love it.
I want to play with him now.
Yeah, it is frustrating to say the least. Dory will fall asleep in a corner. Maybe he'll just choose. He doesn't wish to play anymore.
But he won't tell you.
like the Division or something, where he enters the game, all the fucking enemies get way stronger, and then he's just gonna fuck off in some corner and not help you. And you're just like, I'm just playing this game on hard mode for no fucking reason. Like, get the fuck out of my game.
Deep Rock Galactic, I'll just be off somewhere not doing the main mission, just
The worst
digging
digger.
with my
Pucho.
digger.
Pucho, we just figured Doey out. He's the master farmer. He's farming you. He's been farming
Oh
you.
shit!
Damn,
I just want
didn't
your
think
time,
about that.
time and
He's
attention.
been farming. He's the master farmer.
Damn, he's farming time, attention, progression, experience, money. Holy shit, though, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you.
We're gonna call him co-op Doey because he's straight farm to console.
Damn.
Yep.
But this is a deviation.
Oh my
Mateo,
god.
what gaming relationship do you like? Okay, because we went from a real one to me bullshitting as usual. I have a bullshit problem.
That's a tangent. The one that I've been playing recently, so the one that's on my mind lately, I've been playing God of War, and that father-son relationship in that game is interesting because Kratos he's not a great dad. I don't know that he is going to become a good dad by the end of this game, but he's becoming a little bit less of a shitty dad by the point that I'm in. But their relationship is so interesting. Him and just yelling at him the entire time, boy. And the boy comes running over. That kid has started actually helping me in combat, though. So it's actually making me appreciate the kid more as the player of the game. So I feel like I relate to Kratos in those moments. And it's like, okay, this kid's not completely useless. He's on this dude's back, choking him so I can smash him with my axe.
You're gonna enjoy that game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sweet. Let's see. Romantic relationships in games. I think the worst one might be Mario and Peach. I think that might be controversial, but she gets kidnapped all the time by Bowser. And at a certain point, you have to ask if maybe she's not just running off with Bowser. They hinted at that her and Bowser have a kid together in one of the games.
Who?
Which one is it Bowser Jr.? I forget.
Hip as shit.
I think it's in Yoshi's Island that one of the kids calls her mom or something like that. I forget which the lore.
Interspecies relationships, right up my alley.
Interspecies erotica. That's a Kevin Smith thing. We love those movies.
I love that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Princess Peach and Mario. Bottom tier relationship. Okay, they suck,
Daisy and Luigi is pretty wholesome though.
dude. Since the greatest movie ever made, the Super Mario Brothers movie. What was it? 1990?
96, 98, something like that.
No, I think it was 90.
Was it 90?
I think it was 90. I'm gonna go with 90. I fucking love Luigi, and I fucking love Daisy, and I fucking love, to circle back to a previous topic, John Leguizamo, Latinx, he's from Colombia, character
Love him.
playing an Italian plumber in New York City. It's just hitting so many things. Like I love the Italians, I love Italian food. The Colombians, I got Colombian family, got the Mario, obviously, all types of shit. And I was like,
The
this is
guy
good.
who acted as Mario was a good actor.
Bob
Yeah,
Hoskins.
That's all I'll say.
Hoskins,
Bob,
yeah.
good actor.
Damn good actor. Yeah.
John
It's a great
Leguizamo was the shit in Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah.
Holy
Wong Fu.
shit. He was so good in that movie.
Well,
Absolutely.
Wesley Snipes and someone else.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
Jesus.
But
Now I
John
can see it.
Leguizamo
Yeah.
just like a
Rest in
whole
peace,
tier
Patrick Swayze.
above those other two. I mean, he was perfection in that role. So good.
I liked him in that movie. What is it? Empire? Something like that?
That's
It's
a-
Yeah, it
that's
was a terrible movie.
Wait. No.
I love it.
We've done too many sidetracks. We got to get back on topic. let's get some more relationship discussions going on.
All
What
right.
do you got, Crystal? What do you got, Booch?
All right, because you went father and son. I'm going to go father and daughter in Joel and Ellie.
That's a
okay?
good one.
I loved The Last of Us. Both games are amazing. The first game, I thought it was incredible. I love the fact that typically when you have a companion in a game, they're usually a hindrance. Is that even a word? They hinder me. Whatever the fuck. They fucking piss me off. I gotta fucking save someone. They're gonna get me caught and Ellie's sneaking around. Sometimes Clicker's running up on me. She smashes him with a bottle, and it's just like occasionally she's so helpful that it's like, oh, you're the best companion ever. So both as my relationship as the person playing and the NPC and as Joel and Ellie, I feel like they just nailed the relationship dynamic there. I thought it was really fucking cool.
It's so good. It really is so good.
And then worst. Okay. One of my favorite games, Ico. Fuck Yorda. All right? She's getting kidnapped left and right. I'm dragging her around. Her legs don't work. She's falling. She's stumbling. I'm dragging this woman. She's the ultimate fucking damsel in distress, okay? These Japanese people, y'all gotta get with the times, all right? Women ain't this distressful. They don't need this much saving. There's some powerful women out there. And they nail it sometimes, right? Sometimes you get a Bayonetta, right? There's Japanese people nailing it. So make more Bayonettas and less Yordas, okay?
Hey.
So I don't want to deal with it.
Which is crazy, right? Because they're the same people that did Shadows of the Colossus, right? And Agro is one of the best companions ever in a game. That horse is ride or die. That horse will never leave you. Well,
I love Silent Hill 3. No, Silent Hill 2. You're playing by yourself. Game is amazing. Now, all of a sudden, you got this girl following you everywhere. It's the worst. Escort missions, worst missions in any video game ever. Just argue with me, all right?
I'd say the worst escort mission ever is the fucking Perfect Dark mission where you gotta walk the fucking alien and it's got the biggest fucking head and you gotta shoot like every fucking enemy that's like in a circle around the fucking alien head, and if even one fucking bullet gets anywhere near this massive fucking, like, I mean, Batman wishes his wang was the size of this alien's head, right? If it was this big, all right, that's a tangent. This fucking alien head, okay, gets in the way, and if you hit it one time, you lose. Restart the mission. That mission made me, I mean, borderline cry as like a 9-year-old. That mission brought me down a lot. I will say.
That's
So fuck
hilarious.
escort missions.
Bucho.
I hate escort missions with a passion. Fucking hate it.
Booch, I got a question for you. Tifa or Aerith?
How fucking dare you? Okay, so my beautiful wife, whom I love with all my heart. Cover your ears, okay? Tifa got them big ass titties. All right. We on team titty out here. All right.
She got the
team titty.
She's got
Tifa,
them
all right?
NFTs.
She's got them. I don't even know what they're
Nice
standing for.
fucking titties.
Nice fucking titties. That's right. You did drop that joke, Crystal. That was a good one. That was a really good one. I thought that was funny. That was good.
Oh my
that was
God.
good. It was a good tag team there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No. All jokes aside, I was on team Tifa day 0. All right. As soon as I played, I was like, all right, this is her. This is my one. All these people that are fucking think by the way, Ares. I can't even say the name anymore. It's Aerith now.
Yeah.
But that was her name back in the day. Yeah, I don't know how you could pick Aerith. I don't know how. I pity you. So there's other shit in there that ain't right, and I think very deeply about you every single day. All you Aerith people out there, I just hope that life works out for you because it ain't right.
I think
If y'all pick Aerith, Pucho coming with the big ass foot.
I think for me it's Aerith because Cloud is just so full of bullshit with any other character he interacts with except for Aerith. Aerith is the only one where he kind of drops his guard a little bit.
I get mad per se when what's the girl's name with the J? Justine something. She obviously likes Cloud. I need that type of
I was gonna say
energy on me.
In the remake, I am Team Jesse.
Yes,
I like that Jesse energy. It's just a little too horny to ignore. Okay, it's just like I want to be a bad person with Jesse. Okay, it's just a little too strong. She's coming on a little hot, a little too strong for me.
If I'm Cloud, I'm not leaving Midgard. I'm good. I'm set.
Facts.
Just yeah.
So what are we picking? Our favorite game relationship and then our least favorite?
Yes.
They're just gaming relationships.
I want to pick something different than okay, I got it. Because this is a spectrum of relationship, right? This is like horny, wild sex and good friendship. Cassandra and Alcibiades from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They have an orgy with 2 goats. Firstly, they have an orgy with the. She says, "There's another goat." Greatest fucking line in a game, right there. Multiple goats in an orgy. They bring up Inalisbos. Historically, like that's the first ever dildo on record. I love them for that. But then, like, they maintain this genuine friendship. So I love Alcibiades, and I love those 2 together. I think they're great. I think that's fantastic. I have to pick a bad one?
No, you don't have to.
No,
I'm trying to think of like. I'm sure there are. Okay,
you made me remember. Go ahead.
I don't want to say it's bad. I can't pick a bad one, but I am gonna say. I'm not saying that I don't love Dina. I'm not saying that Ellie and Dina are bad. That's not what I'm saying. Dina's just a little bossy for me. I just if Dina could just tone it down a little bit. Like I knew what to do the second time I played the game, but Dina was like, "Don't open the fucking door until I tell you to open up the fucking door, Ellie." Little bossy for me. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying I dislike them. Just tone down the bossy, okay? Tone down the bossy. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
I also like Dina, but I feel like she should have stood her pregnant ass in Jackson, okay? You're compromising this mission. We're on a fucking mission. We got goals. Don't fucking fuck this up for me.
You're compromising the baby, and I love Dina. I love her and Ellie. I love them together. I'm fine with that, but like, yeah, that was questionable for me. That was plot armor. Questionable for me, but like, stop being so bossy. Ellie's a boss bitch. Quit bossing. Quit bossing me. Quit bossing me.
Mateo, have you played The Last of Us 2?
No, you're only good. I've stated my opinion on spoilers. I think I actually kind of enjoy spoilers because they let me almost jump to that second playthrough, that second watch through experience where I already know what to kind of look for signs of.
You analyze things on a deeper level.
Dude, that combat is fucking fire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like, to speak to the plot armor point, while I certainly felt like there was plot armor, they intentionally killed pregnant people to make you feel like maybe pregnancy is not something that's on the table for safety.
Yep.
Like everything's on the table for death. And so I thought that was cool,
awesome.
because I was on edge a few times, you know.
I totally respect Neil for taking that incredible risk of being that dark and that just fucking horrifically violent and like depressing.
Even
For
the
sure.
girl that's playing her PS Vita, it's like I could have been that person. I love my PS Vita. I love
No, you would've been.
Hotline Miami. I would have died.
You would have done.
I would have been dead.
Joey, obviously you haven't caught up on the One Up podcast because we've given our official stance on the PS Vita on this podcast before. Just throw it straight in the trash. It's outdated. You don't need it anymore. Just toss it away. Get rid of it.
That is the unofficial. That is the
stance, 'cause I love
unofficial
the Vita.
stance. I love the Vita. You're
I
not gonna get that
outvoted.
from
Crystal's
me.
face said she likes it. Me and Doe clearly like it. We're launching you into outer space. You're gone, Mateo.
We're gonna yeet your ass like Abby fucking muscles. Just fucking yeet you. Boom.
I've got my Steam Deck arriving, soonish. No, we don't need the Vita anymore. The Vita's over. It's good.
What we don't need is proprietary fucking storage. That was the worst thing about the Vita.
Yeah.
We need just regular storage.
Can I ask you guys a question really quick, if you don't mind? Because we're talking about relationships in video games, right? And all of us happen to mention, I think because it felt more organic, two created characters. But if you're playing like an RPG and you create your own character and you're inserting yourself in the story, I'm just surprised none of us picked that. Do you think that feels different when you're like assessing what a relationship feels like in a game because you're the person that's potentially controlling the outcome of that?
Persona 5 Royale all the way. I was banging everybody. I just wanted the most relationships. And then the ones that I enjoyed the most, the one with my teacher.
Taka.
Make me
Yeah.
coffee every night. Thank you. Come over here and make me some
Did you get
some-
your ass beat for Valentine's Day?
curry.
Yeah.
I did two separate people. I think I did Futaba the first time, and then I did Kasumi the second time.
This game sounds completely insane. I don't know anything about the Persona series. And every time Joey talks about it, I'm like, what is this game?
It's a JRPG. They're kind of inherently a little different and weird
Pervy.
and
But it's-
mechanic
yeah.
heavy and pervy a little bit.
But it's got like combat. It's got like this harem dating sim
turn-based.
aspect. It's got the slice of life high school.
well,
It's-
you're a horny teenage boy, and lots of individuals are ripe for the picking because they will throw themselves at you if you play your cards right in the game. That's
Play them
all
cards
I'm gonna-
right.
I wish. I know that this is I wish you could have dated all male and female.
Ryuji. Yeah, it did kind of make sense for Ryuji. I would totally get down with some Ryuji.
Bro,
sure.
the bromance.
Well, see, now Pucho knows my answer. If I'm thinking RPG, I'm in control of the character. Who's the best relationship in an RPG? Pucho knows who I'm picking.
Yeah, she's going cyberpunk with this one.
It's true.
Is it
It's true.
Keanu?
But see,
Is
no,
it Keanu
no, no.
beyond?
Well, to be fair, there are, in my opinion, there are 4 NPCs, 4 or 5, depending on your. To me personally, 4 NPCs in that game felt extremely satisfying to either have a really good friendship with them or have a romance with them. It was a very deep, multi-dimensional game. I felt like they did a good job with that. But you would know, even on like a friend level, those were good. Those were good relationships.
The
I was going to
relation.
say, to answer your question, while it does feel different for me because I'm not huge on the whole like, oh, here's an RPG game that I need to make my own choices. I never really feel like the character that I'm playing. I love the relationship between Shepard and Garrus. I recently just played through Mass Effect. When I say recently, maybe it was 2020. The pandemic's a fucking blur. But I played through all 3 Mass Effect games, and I fucking love Garrus. Garrus is the fucking homie. Through every fucking game, he's got my back. It's got witty fucking banter. You know, it makes you feel bad for putting him in precarious situations, but he's always there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's how friendships are.
I've heard that's the real gut punch in the Mass Effect series, is that you form these bonds and relationships with these people, and they can die. They can be removed from your game completely during these missions. It adds that extra layer to it.
I think if Garrus dies in Mass Effect 1, it'll ruin the whole fucking game because like he's my favorite character in the whole series.
Or maybe it enhances it. It gives your Shepard now has that layer of sadness to him because he's missing his partner.
The Outer Worlds does that. You can get all of your NPCs. You can get them killed in combat forever. I
was so excited to get my engineer laid in that game. That mission, where she's got the crush on the other engineer. So
on June.
Yeah.
June Lau.
Love that.
I love that game. Great game. I think it's so cool because it's like so many games are one dimensional, right? Like you love but even like Fallout, Assassin's Creed, so many games, it's like you have that little romance and then it's like you lose the authenticity. So I like the Outer Worlds in that sense that you can like go buck wild. You could kill every faction in that game if you want to and still beat the game. It's hard as hell, but you can do it. I just think that's cool.
I've never played Undertale. I would imagine that Undertale has some relationships up here that are really deep and gut-wrenching, just from given what I've heard about that game.
Maybe I haven't played it either.
In the beginning of the game, all right, I'm going to spoil it a little bit, but there's a boss fight that you encounter. You have to fight a parent figure, and if you haven't really, your first time through the game sets it up in such a way where you'll end up killing this character. There's a way to get out of this fight without killing the character, but you're gonna kill them because at the end of the day, it's an RPG. When you start seeing your health go down, you're gonna fight back and you're gonna kill. And the game even does an interesting thing. You do the attack button, you do minuscule damage. You do the attack, then you attack again, it's still minuscule. So you're just like, all right, maybe I attack a couple times and the fight ends. And then once you attack a couple more times, it does massive damage and they fucking die. And the whole game you played through and they're like, wow, you killed that character. You're such a massive piece of shit. Like they rub that in the whole fucking game. So it's like, whenever you go back to replay that part, like all you're trying to do is figure out how to get through that without killing them. And yes, for me, that was the one character in the whole game that really made me feel that way. But Undertale's a good game.
Pucho, what about your boy Spider-Man in the Spider-Man game? Him and MJ didn't quite click for me in that game. Their relationship didn't seem quite on the level, right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
It felt a little flat.
It felt like they didn't really include her enough.
It felt like him and Black Cat or whatever the cat. They had more chemistry together.
So much
more.
more.
The Black Cat.
Can we just talk about her for a minute?
It's my waifu. Okay.
Does anybody else think she looks like Minka Kelly?
Who's Minka
I have no
Kelly?
idea who that is.
Google her. To me, they look like their figures look their faces look similar. Their figures look similar. I feel like I don't know. I kept looking at her and I'm like, she looks like Minka Kelly to me.
Oh, I could
plays
see that.
Dove. Yeah, like their figures from all angles and directions look similar as well. that would, I mean, if I were Peter, I would pick the cat. I'm just.
Me too. I like cats though. Yeah.
Their chemistry was so much better. It's like, did they intend to do that, or was it like the actor? I don't know. It just yes.
In the same game though, I will tell you, Peter's friendship with the police chief, Yuri, something like that, something with the Y, I want to say.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was very
it's
sweet.
Asian woman, right?
Yeah, I thought it was very sweet. I thought it was very genuine friendship. I enjoyed that aspect in there.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you. I felt like the MJ relationship with Peter Parker was too tame.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like Elena is great. I'm not taking away from Elena and Nathan Drake, but Elena and Chloe. I'm sorry.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
felt like MJ and Elena are like safe, wholesome. Okay. And then you have like the cat. Why can't I remember her whole character name? The kitty cat and Chloe. Chloe Fraser.
Chloe's dangerous though. Didn't she shoot him once?
Yeah, no, that's what makes it hot. Okay,
Mateo.
If there's not
Mateo.
fucking- that's why I'm married to a Puerto Rican
Is she gonna
woman.
kill
Okay?
me? Is she gonna fuck me?
What-
Who
okay,
If
but-
there's not a danger of stabbing, is it worth it?
Okay, but in all fairness, we would all probably let Chloe shoot us too.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
It's like I'd let a Puerto Rican woman almost stab me. It's like you gotta go for it.
You gotta get to the edge.
I'm gonna admit something to you fellas. Back in the day, Crystal used to be a little bit of a player once upon a time, and I thought that there was this Puerto Rican gal, and I was honest about it, but I didn't. I went through a period of time where I didn't just see one woman, and I wasn't hiding it or anything. I just wasn't. And she knew. I thought she was going to kill me. There is like a whole different dynamic with a Spanish. I probably shouldn't say this on air, but like
No.
I thought there is a real legitimate. There is a credible threat to your life, whether you are honest or not. You do not like. Don't do it.
Don't.
Don't.
Just don't.
Don't do it.
I'm
I
happily
mean, like,
married. I love my wife. I love you.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we get ourselves out of here? Y'all have any other relationships come to mind? I think Dead Space is the other one that comes to mind. I forget the protagonist's name, but he does that entire thing just to get a chance at seeing his ex, right? Like they're not even currently dating still. He goes and fights the entirety of that spaceship just to get a chance to see her again.
Yeah.
oh,
That's some dedication.
here's one of my favorite relationships. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Abby and Lev. I love Lev's
Yes.
character. Like I just love when Abby. That game. I mean that game, obviously, right up and down. When Abby looked at Lev and Yara and she said, "You're my people." That hit me. Like, oh my God, that is epic. That's like top tier relationship right there for me.
Yeah. Lev is also my favorite character.
I love Lev. Like
yeah.
I couldn't. In the ending there with Lev, I was Whew.
Baby Mario and Yoshi's Island 2.
Oh.
Fuck that baby. Fuck that baby.
Whoa.
I just wanted it to fly off, all right? Every time I got hit, now I gotta go pick up this baby now.
Oh,
Worst part of that game.
I do have a least favorite. Preston, Gary, I'm tired of another settlement needing my fucking help.
Yeah. That's an abusive friendship is what that is.
And I love Preston, but I'm so fucking tired of how needy you are. And how goddamn ethical you are. So fucking what? I wanted to fuck some shit up. I rest my case.
Strangely, we didn't go very romantic. Like, there's a lot of romantic relationships, right? Like,
Okay,
there's
but-
like,
Cloud and Merle?
An
Or not Cloud,
orgy
Chrono
with
and Merle?
multiple an orgy with multiple goats counts as romantic. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, you definitely. I think you're the only one. We all went platonic with ours, but yeah, the goats. That was a nice touch. I remember there's another goat.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard.
I don't know what it was about that game too. I also played through the game as Cassandra. It just felt right. Like, and yeah, so there's a lot of funny moments like that. But yeah, like some obvious ones are like Titus and Yuna. Like, how do you not say Titus and Yuna when you're talking relationships?
I think that some of the non-romantic ones are a little bit more interesting though, with the nuance that they're able to do in some of the games. Like it's interesting to see Kratos become a better father. It's less interesting to just romance a character in Skyrim or something, right? Like it's just choosing the right dialogue options and doing the quest line and boom, done. But
Yeah,
with Kratos,
and
it's
then
the entire point of the game is that development of that father-son relationship.
Yeah.
That is true.
100%.
Because then, like, it usually falls flat. Like, after you romance a person, it's like, okay, it's done. You never, this person, like, you're done. It's gone.
So I think that's probably the reason why we jumped on those specifically. Well, Crystal, I would like to thank you for being on the One Up podcast. It has been a long time coming. Well, we'd love to have you on again soon, whenever we can.
Oh, I would love it. Thank you for having me on. I had so much fun. And
and-
my boys, I love you.
And vice versa too. If you can
Are we your people?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
You are my people.
Yeah. Shout out to Crystal's whole base of friends. I'm so happy to meet all these people that work with Crystal in whatever way, whether it be a guest or whether it be an online presence. Like, you guys are awesome. You have cultivated a very supportive community. And nothing shined that more to me when we got attacked and for doing our own thing. And you guys came out and supported
Fuck that
us.
guy.
And I
Fuck
really
that guy.
appreciate that a lot, Crystal, for your support and the base, your family coming out to show
Oh,
support.
we're a family.
Yeah.
We're a family.
And Doey asked me, hey, how'd you even find these people on Twitter? I was thinking about it. Shout out to Boki Goat, okay? Funny guy. I don't know how. We ended up following each other on Twitter. And then I just started seeing posts by Guernico, seeing posts by the Justin, Joey, Crystal, and I just sort of started following all these people and just kind of ended up in this like circle on Twitter. And it's been good.
It started with you and I, because I just put an APB out like, does anybody want to talk about, like, are there any developers that want to talk about details in gaming? And you're
Right,
like, hey,
right.
I do. And that's how we connected. And then got,
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a show, but that's how we kind of got, that's how the magic started, fellas.
Yeah, no, we appreciate your community. We love being a part of it. I love watching the interactions. I think it's a very wholesome community that you're building. That's very much like we're all just gamers, and that's what bonds us. Maybe we have some different opinions on things, but we love games, and let's just bond over that.
I'm not sure I get to take credit for building it. I mean, we're all doing it together. I mean, it's ours, and it's a big family effort.
Well, it's an honor to be part of it, and we'd love to having you on the show. Anytime you want to bring any of us on, just reach out. We're always available for you.
We're gonna have to follow it up. If y'all haven't watched, these guys have been on the show, and we're gonna have to do it again real soon.
Absolutely.
We're
Hey,
gonna pick some good shit.
hey, we appreciate every single one of you that's listening. Thank you for making it this far. Check out Crystal. You're sleeping on her stuff. If you're sleeping on her stuff, you're fucking up. Go check her out. Subscribe. Give her those views. Maybe follow us too. Maybe subscribe to us too. We would appreciate that. That'd be cool. Thank you, Crystal, for being on the show. And
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, as we say every single time, go one up yourself.
Bye, everybody.